What's up, everybody? It's your boy Melly here for another classic review, and today I'll be talking about another Disney classic film from back in the 60s. This has to be the weirdest title, but I kind of like this one. Blackbeard's Ghost. And this is one of the old Disney films from the 60s, which, this one's kind of funny. When I saw the title, like, oh, is it going to be like a horror film? Or, no, in Disney, this would be like a comedy. And this came out back in 1968, February of that time period. And you got a list of cast members in this film, which some you might even recognize outside of Disney. But before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, tell me, have you ever lived in an old abandoned inn? You stand there. You want something from an auction. Inside of it is like a spell book belonging to a scorned ex who has been convicted of witchcraft, who cursed somebody for all eternity after they died. They will never find peace. You read the magic words and you summon the ghost, but only you can see it, and people around you think you're crazy. Well, by this film, you'll soon learn to find out. So yeah, Blackbeard's Ghost. It was a film back in 1968, directed by Robert Stevenson, and starring Peter Ustinov. If you don't recognize that name, he's been in many other films, but he's well known to playing Jim Douglas in The Love Bug, both in the original and Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. And I also knew there was a series as well. Like back in the 80s, there was a series called, I forgot the name of it. It was around the 80s. Let me see. I think I passed it. Where the fuck? Let's see. Where? Oh, here it is. Herbie the Love Bug. And he was in the main role. He played his character Jim Douglas in 5 episodes. It was from 1982, which... Seriously? There was a series called Herbie the Love Bug? Huh. Never heard of it. He was in other Disney films like That Darn Cat. And of course, he played the villain, Dr. Herman Varnick, in Beethoven. Which I did not know that. Wow. After checking them out, you know what's funny? I confused him with the other actor from The Absent-Minded Professor because he looks similar, but no. It's pretty funny, actually. Also, digging into his filmography, he also voiced Dean Arbogast in Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, which, didn't know that. Also, he was in The Shaggy DA, Million Dollar Duck, Monkeys Go Home. Not a lot of films. Mostly, like, I think his started early Disney film was That Darn Cat before hitting Blackbeard's Ghost, and then his iconic one being The Love Bug. He also wasn't, well, there's somebody from television as well. His last role was in 2001 for a television called Scrooge and Marley, when he voiced Ebenezer Scrooge. And also, he reprised his role of Jim Douglas in the TV film The Love Bug, which is, you know which one, the bad one, where they create an evil Herbie called Herman. If you don't know where, wait, what was it? It was in Herbie's funeral. He just walked up and said, "Hello, my name is Jim Douglas." I kind of wish that was a waste. Like, of course, we have the Lindsay Lohan Herbie Fully Loaded. Why they invited him? And that film came out in 2005. The Lindsay Lohan one with Herbie. I kind of wish they had him, Jim Douglas, right there, walking up to her in the garage where they managed to save Herbie's ass from a demolition derby, from the shit she pulled from him. That would be a good potential of him meeting Herbie, well, and helping her. And of course, remember, he's an old school racer. It's like passing the torch, like, from the original OG racers to the new ones from that time. But we got these weird CGI fuck-ups. Ugh. But besides him, we also have other actors like, let me see, Peter Ustinov, who plays Captain Blackbeard, the title ghost of the story. And him, I have to do a lot of work here because, oh, that's not bad new. Besides being an actor, he was also a, won't believe this, he was knighted, and also he was a chancellor at Durham University from 1992 to 2004. Wow. From actor to chancellor of a university. Durham University. Where's that? Durham University. Oh, in the UK. Okay. In England. Damn. As he retired from acting, he became an educator. After that, he was president of the World Federalist Movement and also Goodwill Ambassador. Wow. Who knew? Also, he received 2 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor for his roles in Spartacus and Tokavai, and other films like Quo Vadis, Sundowners, Billy Budd, Hot Millions. He voiced Prince John and King Richard in the animated Walt Disney film Robin Hood, which I did not know that he was the. Oh my god! I would imagine the booth when he has to do that role. You know what? Mommy. Please tell me he did not actually have to suck his thumb when he had to do that. That would be pretty funny. If somebody had that on film. Him doing that voice role for that. And I didn't know he voiced King Richard. Well, no. And he portrayed Agatha Christie's, if you don't know who she is, Hercule. Oh, he portrayed Hercule Poirot in 6 times in both films and television. Oh, okay. Who knew? Among other notables, there's also Suzanne Pietri, who plays the love interest, Joanne Baker, and also Elsa Lanchester, who plays Emily Stowcraft, one of the descendants of Blackbeard's crew. If you don't recognize that name, whoo, you people don't even recognize her outside Disney. Well, before. If you don't recognize her in horror films, she's famously known to play the bride of Frankenstein in James Whale's sequel to the iconic 1931 film, Universal horror film Frankenstein. Not just she didn't only play the bride, but she also played Mary Shelley, which her name's credited, but the bride ain't, which is actually pretty funny. Fun fact for the wig for the bride is a redhead. Because of the, it's black and white. If you use a black hair, it looked too dark. If you use like a redhead, it was like grayish, but it looks similar to black. It helped with the lighting. That's why. And she also is well known. Another Disney film before this, she was Katie Nana in Mary Poppins. You know which one. The one who leaves after she already had the last straw dealing with the Banks children. When Mrs. Banks saying, "Oh, Katie Nana, why are you leaving? I'm just having these brats." And okay, you see her, she's like more stuck up, and here she's more happier. Because, well, face it, most of the old women called the girls of the Buccaneers, I believe they're called. I think they're called the women of the Buccaneers. I forget the name. Daughters of the Buccaneers, which are the elderly descendants of Blackbeard's crew members. So that's pretty cool. That's what it is. There are other notable cast members, which, oh boy, there's a long list. Besides those, you have Jobby Baker, Elliot Reid, Richard Deacon, Norman Grabowski. There's some guys I do not know, and those who I might know. You want to do your research? Go look up yourself. But I do like this one tip I saw the movie. Was the opening credit where he's telling the story, which I quote, "It In the early years of the 18th century lived a pirate, Edward Teach, known as Blackbeard. From the Spanish Main to the Carolinas coast, he wrought a bloody tale of destruction unparalleled for its ferocity and terror. Blackbeard was killed in a sea battle off the American shore. This was followed by widespread joy when it became known the dread pirate has gone at last. Or Hattie. I'm sorry, but I didn't have to read that quote. It's actually pretty cool. And plus, you see like the model pirate ship right in the storm. That looks dramatic. Like, when I saw that, like, ooh, this could be interesting. And when I heard the pirate, when they showed Blackbeard for the time after the character played by Gene read the magic words, I did not expect him to sound more, well, he sounded like Dom DeLuise before Dom DeLuise was acting. I don't know what year he was born. I think Dom DeLuise was born in the 60s. I don't know. But still. It was actually pretty interesting. Plus, the plot is quite simple. It's more like you have Steve Walker, played by, by Peter Ustinov. Oh no, that's Dean Jones. Sorry. Arriving at a fictional East Coast town called Godolphin, which takes the position of a track coach at Godolphin College, which, of course, the night of arrival coincidence at Charity Bazaar at Blackbeard's Inn, the hotel where he'll be boarding, named after the infamous pirate himself, now run by the Daughters of Buccaneers, who are descendants of Blackbeard's crew. And the inn was built from the timbers of the very ship of the Queen Anne's Revenge, which ran aground in the bay. The owners intended to pay their mortgage to keep the inn from being bought by a local crime boss called Silky Seymour, who wants to turn to a casino on the land because the lame love interest explains that the land is an island which was separated by the main land many years ago, and when the flood came, it made a causeway around the island, which, of course, hey, you want to build a casino? You got to build out of the territory or the district. So, if you're on an island, you're in control, not in the land of the government. Yeah. After a bidding war with the football coach, which, yeah, when he meets the dean, let's just say the dean is not happy because he considers the track team more compared to the football team, which, of course, he meets the football player, the football coach, which he's a tall guy compared to the track coach. And, of course, he makes acquaintance with the Godolphin professor, Joanne Baker, who was, played by Suzanne Pleshett. I like it as a kissing booth. She said, okay, it'll be $5. Guess what she did? She just literally grabs his head and gives him a big kiss, like a big one, like right in the mouth, like, damn. He's like, huh? Yeah. That's like, what just happened? Jesus Christ, your first time you get smooched by a a pirate's way, huh? Ain't Tortuga, but hey. Of course, Silky Seymour and his goons are there trying to screw up the auction, like telling them all the items are fake. After a bidding war with the football coach and the cherry auction, C wins an antique bed warmer, once owned by Blackbeard's 10th wife, Aldafa Teach, who had a reputation of being a witch. Which, of course, the lovely Emily Stallcroft, played by Elsa Lanchester, explains the story that the room that the person stayed is once Blackbeard's room, and also explains the bed warmer belongs to Blackbeard's 10th wife. And there's even a portrait of her explaining that Blackbeard kind of spilled the beans that his wife's a witch, and she burned at the stake. And before she burned, she let a curse right to Edward Teach that he will not rest for the crime until his, if you try, that's one thing. If you're married to a witch in that time period that you didn't know, Let's hope you treat her nicely, because you treat her bad, you're fucked. Which, of course, explained that she put a curse which, when he dies, he will not find peace. He'll be in limbo until the curse is broken. Soon, he accidentally breaks the hand off, finding her book of spells inside, which, of course, he recites one of the spells, which is on a lark, a spell to bring your eyes and ears one who is bound in limbo. Conjuring up the ghost of Blackbeard, who appears a socially inappropriate drunkard. Hey, that sounds accurate to me. Cursed by his wife to existence in limbo unless he can perform a good deed. Yeah, I like how he just pulled out the sword after the professor called him out. And he felt it's not real. He literally wants to get stabbed through the sword. Of course, the worst way. At first, Blackbeard said, "Where's the rum?" I don't drink. He said, "You don't drink?" But yeah. He later goes down to get some rum, but the Miss Emily doesn't see him because those who read the spell, they can see him. And about who didn't read the spell cannot see him. That's simple. Of course, Steve and Blackbeard are bound to one another by the power of the spell, and only very reluctant, Steve can see and hear him. As a result, Steve must deal with his antics and wayward pirate while attempting to revive the college's track team and form a relationship with Joanne. Steve is falsely arrested for drunk driving when Blackbeard attempted to drive Steve's automobile and steer it like a pirate ship. Because the arresting officer cannot see Blackbeard, and because Blackbeard crashed the cop's motorcycle onto a tree, Steve spends the night in jail. Even though the cop sees this motorcycle chasing him, he jumps in his car, and the motorcycle crashes, and he looks at him like, he's just like, "Just cuff me." Like, huh? That's just crazy. That's just weird, I tell you what. Of course, while in jail, Steve reminds Blackbeard that if he does a good deed, his curse will be broken. Which, of course, Steve asks Blackbeard for his treasure map to help the daughters of the Buccaneers to save the end, but Blackbeard admits that he spent all the money. Steve decides not to trust Blackbeard. Of course, he was released to jail the next day due to a lack of evidence, but is put on probation from the college, forced to win the big track meet, or be fired from his position. Wow. No evidence, and yet you're screwed. Of course, the problem is that Steve's team is sorely weak and ordinary, do not stand a chance of winning. Blackbeard firmly told Steve more than once not to interfere with the boys on his team and the opposing team. Which, of course, Blackbeard uses his intentions is to use his ghostly powers to help the college win the track meet, and then use the winnings to pay the mortgage full. Steve is at first outraged by the pirates' interference, but he decides the greater good is to win the money for the sake of the end. He also accepts the pirates' help in shaking down Silky Seymour and his thugs after Seymour refused to pay out the winnings from the bet. Which, of course, him and Joanne go to the casino, which is a floating boat. And of course, let's say a little shenanigans, which you see Blackbeard just easily pickpocketing the guns off the goons and sabotaging the roulette wheel because there's like a, they like to cheat. So he pulls the wire, connects the wire to the house's pants, and well, zap zap. Of course, the man just in time to pay the mortgage, but Miss Emily wants to give the papers up to burn them, but he said, "Nope, say hello to your real benefactor." But first, he asks all of them, including Joe, and to say the words, and 3, 2, 1, they all see Blackbeard. And I'm sorry, you see all the daughters of the Buccaneers go blushing like, Blackbeard! Like, and he's like, ladies. He actually did that. He actually did that right in front of Elsa. She did the little pat on the chest. Like, does anyone remember Robots when she sees Big, where Miss Fat, like, Aunt Fanny sees Big One, like, rest my pump. Yeah, that. Oh boy. Of course, he thanks everybody, and of course and Steve as well for helping him. He says, Joe just says, she says to him, you know, I love you more than you're crazy. Some compliment, but hey. Of course, I like how they foresee the rowboat approaching. It's like, huh? I don't see nobody. And he knows Blackbeard rowing the boat. I think he got drunk. And then when he's about to leave, since the curse was broken, he got on the boat, and everybody see a silhouette of a ghost ship right there. And it turns out it's his ship, the Queen Has Revenge, and his crew waiting for him. And he already gives the orders to set sail, hoist the colors. And that's it. I just like you see the ship in the fog, the silhouette, waiting for him, waiting for their captain to board his ship to the afterlife. Of course, that was a pretty good. Also leaving Steve and John to preserve a future together. But yeah, this film actually had a box office of $21 million, which I'm trying to find out what was the budget. Wow. It says here the film earned $5 million theatrical rentals in North America. Okay. It's mostly in home media. In Walt Disney Home Video initially released Blackbeard's Ghost on VHS in 1983. The film released on DVD in 2002. In 2016, Blackbeard's Ghost was on Blu-ray on Disney Movie Club exclusive. Now shit. Yeah. The film has a rating of 82 on Rotten Tomatoes, which has to be damn good. Robert Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 3 stars out of 4, called Disney's best since The Absent-Minded Professor, which, hey, if any of you seen The Absent-Minded Professor, I don't know if I did a review on that. I gotta check. If I didn't, I'm gonna do a review on that, because this one, The Absent-Minded Professor, has to be the funniest one. If you're wondering, this was the original Flubber, and this one had 2 sequels, Absent-Minded Professor and a sequel, Son of Flubber. I am not joking, that's the sequel's title. And I don't recall them doing a sequel for the Ron Williams one. They lost that opportunity, didn't they? Or did they combine both of them? I don't know. And also, a splendid vehicle for many talents of Peter Ustinov. Howard Thompson of the New York Times wrote, Walt Disney people had delivered a delightful seasonal goodie for the young and young-hearted called Blackbeard's Ghost. After a couple of limp hearings, the master live-action unit is back on sure footing with neat, perky, and flavorsome little comedy fantasy that arrived yesterday at neighborhood theaters, which Riley declared. Inspired direction makes it all come alive via fresh special effects and sight gags, and through fanciful script that, in a most adroit way, is neither too illiterate nor too sketchy. Damn. And here's another one. Robert Stevenson's direction is equally pedestrian, and the rather silly fantasy of crazy sports sequence is feeble echoes similar to a scene in a Marx Brothers film, Horse Feathers, which I seen the movie. It's pretty funny. I've seen it. I recommend it. It's a good film. You have Groucho Marx in charge of a college, and their football team is doing the same thing like this. They didn't say about the budget, though. Well, back then the budget had to be like $500,000, I believe. And this film earned like $21 million, so that's a lot of good. That made good money. I don't know how much was the other one. A 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's an icon as well. Well then, I hope you like this review, and let me know if you want me to do other reviews on classic Disney, because, hey, I think these films deserve another chance in seeing, because nowadays, Disney's been doing like live action remakes, okay, some are hits, some are misses. Hey, Lilo and Stitch was a big hit. Some people love it, some don't. Hey, I enjoyed it. I want to do a review. I'm planning to do a review on Lilo and Stitch as well. Also, I'm planning to do a review on How to Train Dragon as well, because hey, May gave us Lilo and Stitch. This month, How to Train a Dragon. Next month, Fantastic Four, which I want to see that. It gives me like the 50s vibes, like old school film. Like, ooh, I want to see that. But yeah, I want to do like I might plan to do reviews on classic Disney. Like I already did with I did with The Love Bug, like with Herbie on the original films, like from The Love Bug, Herbie Rides Again, Monte Carlo, and Goes Bananas. The reason I didn't talk about the other two because the one came from the 90s, the other two fountains. This one and Blackbeard's Ghost, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the comedy. It's pretty funny. It kind of reminds me. I think I did a review on Bed Knobs and Broom. Well, I gotta check because okay, I did like a reaction trailer review for Mary Poppins as well, including other reviews. But I gotta check in my archives of videos I did to see which one I did, and which one I didn't do, so I don't have to. If in case I repeat it again. But yeah, Blackbeard Ghost, I recommend it if you enjoy some classic Disney swashbuckling. This is like something like Treasure Island, but this one involves a ghost. A Blackbeard instead of being more bloodthirsty, like the historical one. This is more like goofy. Plus, you have talented actors in this film. I recommend it. And fun fact, this was actually the final. I think this was the final film Elsa Lanchester was in before she passed away. Damn. And I didn't realize that was her because when I heard that voice before, when I looked at the cast, it's the bride herself. It's kind of funny how Disney managed to get the Bride of Frankenstein into a Disney film. That's pretty interesting how, but hey, I don't know. You tell me, I wasn't there. I wasn't even born yet. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think of Blackbeard's Ghost. If you're interested, go check it out. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but since it's a Disney film, you know there'll be copyright. But let me check just in case. Because, hey, let's see. Let's see if it's on YouTube. I don't know. Let's check. Okay, videos. Wildest Disney movie you never seen. Well, no, there's no full film. Remember, it's a Disney film. You try to put that online, you're fucked. But yeah, I think this is actually a review called The Wildest Disney Movie You've Never Seen. I think he's talking about the Blackbeard ones. Now, oh yeah, you also it's a film's on Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm not joking. Blackbeard goes on Disney Plus. While half other Disney films that people want to see, they're not. Let's just say Buzz Lightyear Star Command, House of Mouse. What else? Those another Disney film. Tower of Terror. Yeah, we all know that one. The one film that actually got right, but is not in Disney Plus. Plus, you can find that film in. I think, if I recall correctly, it's on the internet in YouTube for free. Let me see. Oh boy. Besides, mostly I had to check Tower of Terror. Just in case. I think I did saw this film on YouTube, but let me see if I'm not. Yeah, it's on YouTube. There's a full version on YouTube. It was uploaded. Wow, 2021. Well, at least at least somebody had the balls to put it up there since Disney Plus didn't want to do it. Y'all been wondering why I didn't do a reaction for a trailer for it, because I couldn't find one. No, literally. No TV spots, no none. There's no trailer for this film, but that's kind of weird. But that'll be a different story for another time. But I have to go. Hope you enjoyed this review. Comment down below and let me know what you think of Blackbeard's Ghost. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video. And until then, have a great summer, everybody. Stay safe, peace out, and a yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.